Next up, we have Gabe Tilove, the Associate Director of Adult Education and Community Outreach at Phipps, and he'll be talking about Phipps' Homegrown program.
Hi, everybody. As Sarah said, my name's Gabe. I work here at Phipps. I've been here about 8 years since the inception of our Homegrown program, and really excited to share sort of a taste of it here with you. I have a lot of slides, so I'm going to try to talk quickly, but I will be around tonight and the afternoon tomorrow, so if anyone has additional questions, I'm always happy to chat. The Homegrown program is essentially a raised bed garden installation program that takes place in people's backyards. So this isn't a community garden, it's not a school garden, these are backyard gardens owned by the residents we install for, and we work in food insecure neighborhoods. And so those are areas that have high incident of diet-related disease, also high poverty levels, where access to fresh produce is an issue, not just sort of geographically, but also as far as food budgets. So the way the program works is people apply. Anyone who lives in our designated neighborhoods can receive a free raised bed garden. First year we come and install the raised bed. They get 2 3-foot by 5-foot beds. You can see one pictured there. They're 16 inches tall, and they get free soil, seeds, plants, garden tools for the family. And we plant alongside all of the participants, and then about 4 to 6 weeks later, we're back on site to do a follow-up visit. Basically the same thing in year 2. We do a compost top-off in the spring to sort of teach about adding fertility. Again, seeds and plants are provided. People who want a compost bin in year 2, we train them on that and provide one free of charge. And again, are doing a follow-up visit in the second year. So that's kind of the bones of the program. To talk about some of the goals, really we're trying to improve community health by increasing fresh produce access through gardening, as well as promoting healthy food choices. We do a lot of different things in our program, but some of the core tenets that drive the decisions that we make is we want all of our programming to be resident-driven, asset-focused. When I say asset, I mean asset-based community development, looking at what the assets of the community are when deciding how to interact with that community, not just looking at a deficit-based model. And then we're always working towards self-sufficiency. So the goal is that we don't have to be involved long-term. The goal is that the program can help take care of itself. Just a word on raised beds. We do raised beds primarily because there is high levels of lead contamination in the city. So if you're growing in ground, there is the potential for exposure. But raised beds have a lot of other huge benefits. Weed control, easier to reach and manage, especially for people maybe who have bad hips or bad back. They're less likely to get weed infested. They have good drainage. It helps with compacted soil. So raised beds are incredibly fertile places for people to grow. You can take a garden like this. So this is actually a whole side lot that's owned by an in-home daycare center. The owner there, Dwight, he is actually a phenomenal gardener, and he had been gardening in ground for years, but his back was starting to ache. He was getting lots of weeds, and so he was getting ready to give it up. And in a day, we were able to come in and put in a garden that looks like this. And he already had the gardening skills. He just needed the infrastructure. We have another example of how much you can grow in a small area. We also have groundhogs where we operate. So we've developed groundhog fencing to help deal with that. And then we also distribute daffodils to all of our participants so that they can plant that in an area of their choosing to help add some spring cheer. Just like we'll be having our spring show here in a couple of weeks. There is something about that, having that in the spring, that really brings the season to life. Education and community building is a big component of what we do. We've got monthly classes, cooking classes. We have a comprehensive gardening handbook. And I mentioned the follow-up visits throughout the year. We teach square foot gardening. There's an example there of them learning how to lay out their beds. That's a hard component for people to learn the first time, is how many plants to put in a particular space. So we teach through square foot gardening. And here's some picture from one of our visits. Sometimes the follow-up visits are great for helping with tomato staking or weed identification. In other cases, it's just a great chance for people to show off all that they've done. It's also a chance for us to sort of see, are there issues happening across multiple yards that we can help educate about in the future? This is a bell curve that represents the level of experience gardeners had coming into the program. And as you can see, it's across the board. You have some who are very inexperienced, some who are very experienced, and a lot of people in the middle. After 1 year in the program, that's those green bars. You can see the confidence level shifts to the right. And after 2 years, confidence is way up in that upper portion. So for us, we believe that the best way to learn how to garden is to actually garden. You don't need a whole lot of classes to get started. You need support throughout. And so I actually have a lot more slides, but I realize I'm at time. And so I just have lots of great pictures. Here's our Good Food Festival. It's a local food festival featuring all local gardeners and farmers and chefs. And this is 2016, 2017, 2018. We're at 235 gardens across Homewood and then in Larmer. And we just got a USDA grant to put 150 more gardens in the neighborhood surrounding that. So it's going to look something like this between 2019 and 2022. So the idea is that everyone who wants a garden should have one, and everyone should know somebody with a garden. So whether it's on your block, it's your sister, it's your friend, there are gardens sort of permeated throughout the neighborhoods. Yeah.